Okay, so we just genuinely need to talk about what is happening with Google right now, because it feels like we're watching the internet's main characters completely lose the plot in real time. Like, do you remember back in the olden days when their entire corporate vibe was literally just don't be evil? Like, it was on their walls, in their code of conduct, and it actually felt like they meant it. But fast forward to 2026, and it feels like they just took that motto, completely burnt it, just set it on fire, then trained some AI model to tell us that the smoke is actually an innovative brand new feature. Like they're basically speedrunning how to become the ultimate villain of the internet, and nobody is actually stopping them. But let's just look at what they have done to one thing we all actually rely on every single day, which is Google's search. Like remember when you could just type a really specific question and get like an actual coherent answer without like ads being shoved in your face? Well, not anymore, because if you try to search up that same exact thing, well, it is an absolute mess. Like you probably get a massive generative AI summary shoved in at the top before you can even scroll to an actual website. And it is actually not just annoying for us as regular people, like it's actually destroying literally the livelihoods of the people who actually make the internet worth what it is. Like major publishers and also independent people are bleeding out because Google is aggressively scraping their articles, summarizing their hard work with AI, and just keeping all the traffic on a search page. Like it has gotten so incredibly bad that huge platforms like even Reddit are facing a reality where they might actually have to completely block Google's whole web crawl just to stop their content from being stolen. It is basically digital extortion at this point, because Google is eating the open web alive to feed its AI obsession. And if every news site and independent like website just goes bankrupt because they aren't actually getting clicks anymore, well, what the hell is Google's AI going to read in 5 years? And you'd honestly think that with an over $4 trillion valuation and all this aggressive pushing to dominate the AI race, well, the people actually building Google's products, well, they would be like living the absolute dream. But no, because the internal company culture is kinda cooked. Like it's just rotting from the inside out. And the employees are literally like rebelling against the executives as we speak. Because pretty much the Alphabet Workers Union, if you don't know, Alphabet is the parent company of Google, well, they marched a massive petition straight to the CEO, Sundar Pichai, office at their whole California headquarters. Like we're talking about more than 4.5k Google workers who just signed this document because they're absolutely terrified of losing their livelihoods. The petition was delivered by a union president. I believe his name was Parul Cole. Sorry if I mispronounced that. But over 100 employees, they were literally rallying outside the building holding signs. Like these are some of the smartest, like most talented engineers and like developers in the entire world, and they are just out there like demanding basic layoff protections, like guaranteed severances, just because Google keeps quietly firing people to free up more cash for their endless AI dream and those damn data centers. Like the workers are begging for an end to these brutal performance quotas that literally grade staff on a fixed curve, which essentially just pits everyone against each other and just creates a toxic workplace where people are just constantly living in fear of getting replaced. And now, credit where it is due, well, Google has actually moved a little on this. They have handed out things like voluntary exit packages to more than, I believe, 70k people across like a bunch of divisions of the company since this whole campaign started. And it is kind of a win for the union, I would say, but that was just one demand out of 4. Like there's still no guaranteed severance, those forced curve like performance quota, that's just still very much alive, and nobody from the executive team of Google actually came down to take the petition in person. Like just imagine working at a company that literally prints us infinite money, you still just wake up every single day wondering if someday some new AI project is going to make you just lose your damn job the next day. Like back in the day, getting a job at Google meant you were just set for life. Like I'm sure you saw all those day in the life as a Google employee videos with all like the free food massages, all that crazy stuff, and just total job security. But now it seems like they are actually treating the top tier engineering talent like completely like disposable cogs in the machine, just so that the higher ups can, you know, brag to Wall Street about how much money they're making and just how much they're cutting costs. But it is not just the employees and the website owners who are completely fed up with Google's whole like behavior right now, because even the global governments are kind of sick of their nonsense. And the stuff in the legal world happening this week is kind of unhinged. Like literally just today, actually on July 23rd, well, the EU Commission, they actually dropped a massive 890 million euro fine on Google for just blatantly breaking the Digital Markets Act. So I'm not going to do a whole legal explanation, but pretty much they got fined because they were caught completely like rigging the game. Like the commission found out that Google, they were artificially shoving their own services like Google Shopping, also just like hotel transfer, all of that, and sports right into the top of the search results with shiny enhanced visuals, while aggressively burying all of their competitors just so you couldn't find them. Like out of that massive penalty, well, 460 million was just for that search rigging alone. Like they basically built a monopoly and then just used it to suffocate any other business that tried to compete with them on a fair playing field. And then to make matters worse, well, Google's president of global affairs, well, pretty much he had the absolute nerve to complain about the fine, claiming that forcing Google to play fair is just somehow causing like product degradation and just stripping away features that people love. Like it is just insane to hear a multi-trillion-dollar company just whine about being the victim when they are literally choking the life out of smaller businesses. Like they want to control like everything you see, everything you click on, everywhere you spend your money on, and then they're just throwing a temper tantrum when someone actually tells them no. And the craziest part about that whole like European crackdown is that Google wasn't just being shady with their search results, like they were just also holding entire app developers hostage on your phone. Like the other 430 million part of that fine was handed down because Google was literally preventing developers on the Google Play Store from actually telling you if they had a cheaper subscription price over on their own website. Like they trapped the developers into using Google's payment system and also just blocked them from actually steering customers to alternative, more affordable options. Like it is just pure unfiltered greed. Like the entire point of that rule is that you're actually supposed to be able to find out about a better deal somewhere else, even if the App Store owner doesn't get a cut of it. Like Google is acting like a digital, you can say, mafia right now that demands a cut of every single dollar that moves through an Android device. Like they just have 60 days to comply with the ruling, or they could face just like insane like penalty payments of up to like 5% of their average daily worldwide turnover, which you could probably imagine is a lot of money. But I will tell the truth, there has been word that Google has been actually making decent progress on compliance lately. So they will probably, I don't know, get some less penalties later on the line. But a sad reality that a nearly $1 billion fine for Google is just basically the equivalent of you or me getting like a $15 parking ticket. Like they just make so much money that they can just afford to just keep breaking the rules, paying the fines, and just moving on to the next shady project. Like, it is this endless like cycle where they just push the absolute boundaries of what is legally acceptable. So regulators just step in years later, but by then the damage to the market is already done, and the smaller competitors, well, they have already gone completely out of business. When you step back and look at the bigger picture here, well, it is just like kind of depressing. Like Google, they used to be the underdog that gave us things like free email, like game-changing maps, and a search engine that actually worked without being like cluttered with ads and AI junk. But now they're just a damn bloated gatekeeper that nobody really trusts anymore. Like they are actively tanking the traffic of the websites that actually create the content that we want to read, just to feed their whole AI slot machine. Like they're mistreating their workforce to the point where thousands of employees are actually like protesting at their headquarters just to get basic fundamental job security. And they're openly rigging their own search results and app stores to just squash competitors until the government literally has to step in and actually find them. Like the whole don't be evil era is completely dead. Like it is just paved over. Like it feels like the executives at Google are just staring at spreadsheets, just trying to squeeze every last penny out of the internet before it just completely breaks under the weight of their own greed. So anyways, that's the first video. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you next time.